Avoid these mistakes if you can before shooting your first film. Watch this video, I've got some great tips for you guys. Alright, so my name is Robert. I've shot quite some films, quite some commercials, music videos and stuff in my life, and also 3 short films. My first short film was under 5 minutes long, the second one was about 10 minutes long, both of which I have directed, edited and shot, and the third one I have co-directed, edited and shot as well. So yeah, I have quite some experience and I have made quite a lot of mistakes that I want to share with you guys and which I want you to avoid and save some time on the other end. Alright, the first tip I have for you is keep it short. I thought that I can pull off a 20-minute plus short film easily. In the end, I couldn't. So my first tip is keep it under 5 minutes if you can. The longer your movie is going to be, or you think is going to be, the harder it's going to be to pull it off. Before even considering resources like time and budget and other stuff for your project, first come up with a story that's even gonna keep your audience hooked for 20 minutes. Before you have a good story, a good enough story that's gonna keep your audience hooked, don't start working on something else. It's actually even more harm to your project because it's just gonna take away from your focus. Alright, so the second tip is don't start working on your project unless you got 100% of the script done and ready to go. Speaking from my experience with the third film that we made, we didn't have 100% of the script ready. We had about 60% of the script ready to go. So we had the beginning and the middle part and a bit of the ending ready, but we started shooting way earlier before we even had a bit of the ending done. We ran into problems like scheduling, we ran into problems like character development, pacing, and just also how much did the story actually make sense, how did the scenes connect and stuff like that. So if you do not have your script ready, try and do not start working on your project before you have 100% of it ready. And also, since we did not have the ending ready for the film and we did not know where we're going to shoot it, we obviously had problems with locations. We did not get permissions early enough for the locations to shoot at, and also we didn't even have time to find any, and we just had to improvise and come up with a plan B so we can make it work, so we don't have to scrap the film or postpone it even more than we had to already. So if you can, try and get your script ready 100% before starting working on your films in terms of pre-production, in terms of location scouting and stuff like that. Alright, so the third tip I have for you guys is pre-record your film. If you can, pre-record the whole thing. Most likely you won't be able to do that, that's no problem. Just get a couple scenes together that are really important for the film. Get your actors together as well. Go to a location that resembles the main location that's going to be final in the movie. I just play the scene through. It's going to help your actors a lot. It's going to help yourself a lot as a DP, as a director. And also everybody's just going to be way more relaxed when actually shooting the film and where everything just has to go smoothly. And yeah, next tip I have for you is assemble a passionate team. If you're not working by yourself, try to get people on that are passionate about your film and also believe that this is going to be a great movie. If not, the people that just work for the money or just work for some exposure and aren't really passionate about your film are just going to drag you down mentally and make the sad days even harder than they actually already are. So if you can, get a passionate team together, and remember, communication is key. Alright, so tip number 5. This one sounds a bit harsh, but it's really just the truth. Schedule your film or it will break apart your filmmaking experience. Take it from my mistakes. We wanted to shoot a 20-minute plus film. In under 2 months, we ended up shooting, it was over 1 hour long, but we ended up shooting for over 8 months. So yeah, schedule and let everybody know and be aware of shooting dates. Don't try to reschedule as much as you can. Of course, eventually sometimes you have to do it, but if you can, don't reschedule, shoot with what you have, improvise, but it's really important to schedule. Tip number 6. Plan with what you have. If you only have a camera and a soft light, then only plan the scenes with that. Only storyboard with what you have. Don't try to make up stuff that you're not gonna have unless you have a budget and you know you're gonna allocate money for that. Tip number 7 is also very important and also very underrated. Prepare yourself mentally for shooting your first film. Your shooting experience is going to be nice, but it's also going to be very demanding on you. It is not going to be as easy as you think. People won't always be on time. Your DPing, your directing won't always work the way you intended to, and also there's going to be a lot of stress due to communication with the team and with everybody else. If something doesn't work out at all, take 5 minutes, take a break, take it slow, let everybody know that there's just a technical issue, and try to get the day going again and try to keep everybody motivated. If you're stressed, also try not to stress everybody else. As I said, take 5 minutes, reallocate all of your power resources and try to get at the thing again. Alright, so we've been through some tips already. Let's get to tip number 8. Keep everything organized. And with that, I don't mean just dump your footage somewhere on on your SSD or your PC or laptop, Mac, whatever. I mean, make a folder structure before you shoot the film. Sort it the way you like it, the way that you think is going to work for you. If you don't really have an idea how to start, ask me or look at other filmmakers, Google how you can make a nice folder structure that works for films, documentaries, or whatever you're shooting. So yeah, keep it organized, make a folder structure. That way you're going to save a lot of time on the other end. Alright, so tip number 9, and this really comes from my heart due to my latest experience with my latest film. Do not shoot with 50 actors and do not shoot on 50 locations. With that I mean, just try to keep your actors and locations that are needed for the film as low as you can, and just try to avoid shooting with more people or on more locations just because you can. In the end, just shooting with more people, more locations isn't going to be worth it exponentially, because you can't really even develop that many characters, have that much character development, that much location establishment, close-ups from the location. Just the more stuff you have, the harder it's going to be to actually make it important for the viewer. And if you can't make it important for the viewer, I don't know why it's there to begin with. And also, managing 5 people is not easy. Managing 10 people is already a considerable task for a director, especially when you also have to do the camera and other stuff. It's just really hard when there's around 10 people just waiting for your go, waiting for your instructions and so on. And imagine doing that with 50 people. That is just not going to work out. So yeah, I hope the 9th tip is helpful. I almost forgot one important tip, and it's one that's very obvious, but just get enough storage. Just have your film backed up. You don't want to lose scenes with many actors in it, having to reshoot stuff, maybe even not getting your film done because of a loss of footage. So it's an obvious tip, but I just had to put it in there. Do not forget to back up your footage, and also get enough storage. We had once a shooting day where we just couldn't start shooting because everything was full. I just didn't check if I even have enough storage, and I couldn't erase the memory cards because I could not back them up and they were full, so I could not shoot. So yeah, just always make sure you have a backup plan for your stuff, for your footage, that also you have just enough storage to shoot. Tip number 11, and this is also a really important one to me: don't wait to edit. Start right away if you can. Start immediately. If you can't, take 1, 2, maybe 3 days off. Each day that passes and where you don't start editing or just take a break in between, the vision you had for your film is just going to get blurrier and blurrier, and that's just going to take even more time in post-production to, hey, I have to think again, how did I envision that scene, and how did I want that to work, how did I want to cut that, how did I want the dialogue to be. So if you can, don't wait, start editing right away. Tip number 12. Alright, let's say you're in pre-production right now. My advice would be to get a visual palette for your film and to try and stick to it as much as you can. Why is that? We as cinematographers, we as directors, we want to create interesting stories, but we want to entertain our audience not only through the story, but also through visuals, through cinematography, through editing, and also through color grading, and many things more. You should get a visual palette for your film and try to stick to it as closely as possible. Alright, next tip is pretty obvious, but scout your locations. And also, if you can, while you're scripting, try to scout a couple locations, because it's very valuable when you've scouted a location, you know this is going to work for a scene in your film. It's very powerful while you're scripting to have your photos and videos of the location just alongside you, and you're scripting while looking at it. It's just much better thinking of a scene, how it's going to work when you know the exact location for the film. And also scout your locations, because the confidence you get for yourself, about your film and your work, is just going to be a great feeling and a great boost for you and your creativity and just overall your self-esteem about the film. Alright, the next tip I have for you is also very important. Sync your files before editing. I have made the mistake, and I've edited an over 1 hour film before syncing my audio. And I know many of you will say, hey, how can it be that bad? How can that be such a big mistake? And it's very amateurish for me to cut a whole movie before syncing the audio. Well, after I was done editing the movie, it was time to sync up the audio, and you cannot imagine the pain. 2 weeks where you just listen to audio files and drag them onto your scene. It's just so annoying. It drives you crazy. It's not healthy for you. I have worked quite some shitty jobs in my life, but man, this one, it just drove me crazy, I'm not gonna lie. So sync up your audio before editing. Alright, last but not least, get an editor. I wish we had an editor for the film that we made. Unfortunately, we didn't. I had to edit everything pretty much alone with my friend back then, and it would have been just so nice to have somebody edit it the way that we envision it, and also with his creativity added, and also to just have somebody to work on the film while we are shooting, to just see how do the scenes actually turn out, because we just simply didn't have the time to do everything, because we also have a normal life and bills to pay and stuff. Chances are you know somebody that has never edited a film before, but you like some of his work, or maybe he's just a friend of yours and he wants to try it. Chances are what he's gonna do with the film, you're probably gonna like it, you're probably gonna like his work, or you can just adjust a bit, and you're gonna make a great team, and overall just your filmmaking experience is going to be just so much better and also much more efficient. Get an editor if you can. That's my last tip for you guys. I hope you found this video helpful. I have a lot more to share. Just let me know in the comments down below if you have any ideas what you want me to talk about, or if you have any question regarding the tips I have for you, or if something was unclear. I will be very happy to respond to that in the comments. And with that, thank you for watching, and talk to you guys in the next one.